Heartless, Forbidden, Book 1. Written by Suzana Thompson. Narrated by Paulina Schubert. Chapter 6. I texted Cade right after dinner. My mom already talked to your dad about a prenup. Cancel the date. He texted me back. When it's signed. I sent him a reply. He doesn't want one. Nice try. I sighed after reading his response. Ask him. I didn't hear back from him, so I thought the matter was settled. My mind was on Skylar the rest of the night, and I didn't get much sleep. Despite this being for her own good, I felt guilty for ruining her happiness over this date. She was looking forward to it so much, and now she would be so disappointed. I was lost in these depressing thoughts the next morning as I left to catch my bus to school, and I didn't see Cade waiting for me in the parking lot outside my building until he called my name. He was standing next to a black Mustang. The morning sun glinted off the shiny finish, and it looked as new as if he had just driven it off the showroom floor. Nice car, I remarked enviously. You think Skylar will like it? He asked. Maybe I should get a limo for our first date. What do you think? Aren't you canceling the date? I questioned uncertainly. Is there a prenup? He queried. My mom already proved she's not like that, I said. She talked to him about it herself before you even brought it up. No prenup, no deal, he stated obstinately. I can't force your dad to make a prenup, I exclaimed in consternation. Then I can't cancel the date, he retorted. You're being unfair, I argued. How am I supposed to control what your dad does? Convince him, he suggested. How? I demanded. Tell him that your mom is after his money, he replied. He might believe it if he hears it from her own daughter. What? I asked in bewilderment. That doesn't even make any sense. Why would anybody say that about their mother? He seemed to actually be considering my reasoning. Tell him... He paused and then continued with more surety. Tell him that he's like the father you never had, and that you don't want to lose him because of your mom. Say that you're tired of seeing her use men, knowing Dad he'll probably pay for your college education. I just stood silently watching him talk. Think about it, he urged. What kind of future do you have right now? Don't you want to be better than your mom? Granted, she raised you, but what has she accomplished in her life besides that? She's latching on to a man because that's all she knows how to do. You can become more than that, Lexi, if you get an education and earn your own money. By getting your dad to pay for my education? I inquired. By lying to him about my mom? Maybe that's your style, but it's not mine. Tell me something, what are you going to accomplish in your life? Are you going to earn your own money, or are you going to count on your dad's money? Is that why you're so paranoid about it? He smiled coldly at me. It's my family's money. It's mine to inherit, and it's my responsibility. Yes, he stressed at my raised eyebrows. It's a responsibility to protect my family's legacy and pass it down to the next generation. His expression momentarily darkened, and I wondered if he was thinking of his sister. You might see it as just a bank account, but it's more than that. You're the only one who's obsessed with your bank account, I told him. Your dad knows there's more to life than money. He wants to share his life with someone. There was a touch of amusement in his glacial smile. And of course that someone should be your mom. Why shouldn't it be my mom? I retorted. They're in love. I don't know about your dad, but my mom never thought she'd be in love again after my dad. If I can be happy for her, why can't you be happy for your dad? Spare me your bullshit about love, he snapped. Girls like you would do anything to marry into money. Like me? I questioned. I'm not getting married. Like you and your mom, he amended. Ever since I've been going to public school, girls have been dreaming about marrying me. Sounds like a nightmare to me, I commented. His smile showed some teeth this time. I bet Skylar imagines herself as Mrs. Cade Stover. I grimaced, because it was true. She had actually mentioned that one time when we had been discussing some celebrity getting married. Skylar had asked me about my wedding preferences and been dismayed when I expressed doubt about ever getting married. She had assured me that I would, and then started telling me about her dream wedding. And Cade would look so amazing in his tux, she had added before flushing in embarrassment. Not that I think he'll marry me, she had deflected immediately. But a girl can dream, right? Leave her alone, I pleaded openly with Kate as I recalled that incident and Skylar's romantic delusion. Prenup, he insisted without softening one bit, and turned to get into his car. I walked over to the passenger side, but Cade's voice stopped me as I reached for the door handle. What are you doing? He asked. I looked toward him and saw him standing beside the driver's side door while regarding me with a cold expression. You made me miss my bus, I told him. I didn't make you do anything, he said. I need a ride to school, I stated. I'll be late if I have to wait for the next bus. That's your problem, he told me. You're not going to give me a ride? I asked in disbelief. We're going to the same place. I'll give you a ride, he offered. Just not in my car. In what then? I questioned. Do you have another vehicle? Will you have time to get it here before school? Maybe you should forget about college, he remarked. I don't think you're smart enough for it. I was talking about writing me, Lexi, he clarified. Most girls with any basic intelligence would have figured that out. How am I supposed to know you're talking about that when you don't even act like... I began defensively before abruptly stopping when I realized what I'd been about to say. I quickly changed tactics lest he think I was complaining about him showing no attraction toward me. Sorry to deflate your ego, but not every girl thinks of you that way. That's why it never entered my mind to... I cut off in annoyance and reached for the door handle again, but he locked the car doors. He was walking toward me when I glanced up, and he had pressed me against the car before I knew his intent. My body came alive with the awareness of his body pressing into me. My hormones surged in response to the feel of him as my body remembered the pleasure it had experienced in the past and been denied since then. As much as I hated to admit it to myself, I had enjoyed sex. Lucas had used me, and I hated him for it, but I had liked having sex. Even though he had destroyed my capacity to fall in love again, he hadn't destroyed my sexual desire. I blamed it on my teenage hormones and hoped that it would stop as I got older. The only thing I could do in the meantime was ignore my libido, but Cade was making that difficult right now. His gaze had lost its cold detachment when it locked with mine, and it became thrillingly intense before his mouth crashed down on mine. My eyes were closed now, and all I could do was feel. His kiss was rough and demanding, but it softened as I yielded to it. His tongue delved into my mouth and stroked a sensual response from me. The kiss was deep and long, and I gasped when I was jolted out of it by Cade yanking me up by grabbing my butt to lift me. My legs instinctively wrapped around him for support, and he looked at me with a heated stare as he pressed me against the car. Is your mom home? He asked in a raspy, rough voice. No, I answered breathlessly. Let's go to your room, he urged seductively. So you can ride me. That last part snapped me out of my lust. Get off me, I gasped. You're on me, he teased playfully before setting me down. I stumbled away from him in horror over what I had just done. I couldn't believe I had let him kiss me, and that I had kissed him back. What was wrong with me? This guy was a heartless asshole, and he was going to be my stepbrother, and he was going out with my best friend. Oh my God, I exclaimed. I hear that a lot, Cade bragged. You won't be able to stop saying it when you're riding me. I looked at him and saw him smirking at me, and I quickly looked away in humiliation. Don't ever touch me again, I warned, and spun away to go back into the apartment building. Rain check, he called after me in a mocking tone. I'll tell Skylar you have a fever and need to stay in bed. Sure you don't want me to join you? Go to hell, I yelled, but I was already there. I couldn't face him or Skylar after what had just happened, but I couldn't hide in my room forever. What was I going to do?